Shane Van Gisbergen just said he'd love to try IndyCar someday. He called NASCAR one of the toughest challenges of his career, and he showed up to a race wearing Kevin Harvick's fire suit that didn't even zip up. Sitting down with Kevin Harvick and Buxton on their show Speed, Shane opened up about everything, and I mean everything. From his struggles on ovals to who he thinks should try NASCAR to what American food blew his mind. This was one of those rare interviews where a driver just lets his guard down completely. Let's start with where this all happened. Daytona International Speedway. Even on a gray, rainy day, Shane couldn't hide how much the place means to him. He compared it to places like Le Mans and Bathurst, saying, "There's not many places that you get this feeling, but you drive into the place and you just feel the history, you feel the vibe, and how privileged you are to be here." He said even after visiting multiple times, coming out of Turn 4 and seeing that massive grandstand still hits different, and seeing it packed on race day Sunday, that's something he's still looking forward to every single time. Now here's what makes the Daytona 500 so weird compared to every other sport. In most championships, your biggest race comes at the end. The Super Bowl, the World Cup final, the championship game. But in NASCAR, the most important race of the whole year is literally the first one. Shane said it's odd, but also kind of cool. He talked about being at the shop all week and seeing the tiny details the team puts into the car that they probably won't bother with on normal weeks. He said you can feel the nervousness in the garage, and it's not like that every week. But the big question everyone wants answered is this: how's Shane doing on ovals? Because on road courses, he basically turned the entire garage upside down. Nobody was ready for how fast he was. But ovals are a completely different animal. Shane was honest about it. He said it's hard to even know where to start because there are so many different things to learn. He talked about having conversations with Harvick early on where the concepts felt like they were on another planet. But now, things are starting to click. He said he's still having lightbulb moments every single weekend, and his secret is simple: keep an open mind and keep getting the playbook bigger. He admitted he's okay on the flatter tracks, but the high banking stuff is where it gets really weird. Talking about Daytona specifically, he said it doesn't seem like you should be able to enter the corner at top speed and turn. The way the car loads into the banking and flexes and yaws out, it's just bizarre. He called it a completely different discipline of racing. And here's something that might surprise people. Shane said his biggest problem might actually be that he thinks too much. He watches these young NASCAR guys who just go. With only 20 minutes of practice and tires that last maybe 2 or 3 laps, you have to find the limit right away. There's no building up to it. In other racing series, you get multiple practice sessions, different sets of tires, and 3 shots at qualifying. In NASCAR, you get 1 corner to warm up, then your lap starts. Shane said sometimes you just have to throw caution to the wind. Now let's get to the part that really got people talking. Who does Shane think should come try NASCAR? His first answer was Max Verstappen. He said Max is obviously the first guy who comes to mind because he's already started doing other stuff outside of Formula 1. But Shane doesn't think Max would want to do it full time. Even just one time though, that would be something. He also brought up Kimi Räikkönen, who actually did a truck race on an oval and didn't do too bad. Shane said a lot of supercar drivers from Australia talked to him about trying NASCAR, but most of them only want to do road courses. The difficulty of the ovals turns them off. And then the conversation shifted to Scott McLaughlin. Harvick said he wants to see Shane and Scotty battle again, and Shane agreed, saying he would be amazing at this and he would figure out the ovals too. Then came the big one. Would Shane himself do the Indy 500? His answer was interesting. He said he'd want to do a road course in an IndyCar first. He called the cars attractive and said they look awesome. They're super physical, and there are a lot of good drivers in that series. But he also said the logistics of what it takes to make a one-off IndyCar appearance were a pretty big turnoff after hearing about the process from others. He'd want to have a go, but probably not full-time. Switching gears to what Shane actually loves about being in NASCAR, his answer was refreshing. He said there's less fluff. Back in supercars, he'd show up to a race on Tuesday and deal with 3 or 4 days of media, which was one of his least favorite parts of being a driver. In NASCAR, he walks into the shop every Monday, does his debrief, and he just loves being there. He loves being with the same group of people, chasing the same goal for 36 straight weeks. He said he's worked with great teams before, but this team dynamic feels special. He also talked about the culture difference. NASCAR has curfews for the garage. After qualifying, instead of working on the car all night, the crew guys just leave it and go have a team dinner somewhere. Shane said the weekends are actually easier on the mechanics even though the every-week schedule is brutal. Looking at his teammates, Shane had nothing but good things to say. He called Ross Chastain a really good leader and one of the best guys in the series. He said Ross is completely open and tells them everything they ask. Shane's goal every week is to match Ross's level. As for Connor Zilisch, Shane said he had an exceptional year in Xfinity and is an amazing talent, but the jump to Cup is massive. He pointed out that in Cup, there are 25 guys who could win on any given week if they get it right. That's way more depth than what Connor faced last year. Shane also shared some incredible stories, like the time he raced legend cars at Charlotte and got taken out in his first race. He jumped out of the car furious, ready to confront the other driver, and it turned out to be a 12-year-old kid. And then there was the fire suit incident. Shane forgot his suit one day and had to borrow Kevin Harvick's. Harvick is shorter and lighter than Shane, so the suit basically didn't fit at all. Short pants, couldn't zip it up. But Shane still went out and qualified in it anyway. On the topic of who's the best driver in the world, Shane was smart about it. He acknowledged the Kyle Larson versus Max Verstappen debate, but said you'll never truly figure it out because the disciplines are just too different. Harvick jumped in and said he's argued for years that Shane himself is the best, comparing him to Mario Andretti and Sterling Moss. Shane appreciated it but kept it cool, saying, "I still have to race against all these guys." For the upcoming season, Shane was clear about what needs to improve. It's all about points now with the playoff format. Their biggest weakness last year on ovals was qualifying. They didn't score stage points early, but were fast by the end of races. This year, the goal is to be sharper from the start of each weekend, qualify up front, and finish in good positions to make the playoffs. Oh, and about American food. Shane's go-to is Wendy's. The weirdest thing he's tried is a bloomin' onion from Outback Steakhouse, which he pointed out doesn't even exist in Australia. Same with Foster's beer. No Australian actually drinks it, and it's made in England. Shane still has the Nürburgring 24 hours and more rally racing on his bucket list, but the Dakar Rally? He shut that down fast. 2 weeks in the desert is a hard no.